So we actually gone through different types of filters, and also we have seen related date filter and range of date filter, right? Uh, and or better, I'll showcase one good example to display, or I mean, with respect to relate to date filter, anchor related to date. Correct. So we have, when you let me connect. So let me go through different version of the data. So I mean, we have, when you look into this, right, order date, we have current year sales, right? So what I'm saying is how this will help the anchor related to date. So let me connect to a different data. So for an example, let's go with Microsoft Excel. And instead of going for the 2023 version, let's say, let's go for long back. I mean, not long back, at least like 2020 or 2021 version. Okay. Now let's pull the orders table, go to the sheet. So this is, let me double click. So you have 2020 data field, right? 2017 to 2020. Let me rename. This is from 2017 to 20. Just to differentiate that specific database right here. And this is a sample superstore data. Okay. So now let's go back to this connection data source 2017 to 20. What I'm saying is here, so we have anchor related to date, right? So you have this option anchor related to date. So how this will work in general is, so for an example, let me go back to month level data. I mean, year and month. And let me pull the sales. So we have year and month level data here. And now whenever you're going to drag and drop order date into filters, and let's go for the related date, right? So generally we have this particular option like current year or previous year, right? This year. But current year, we don't have data, correct? We have clearly seen 2017 to 2020. Right? So previous year, for sure, we don't have data. Last 3 years, nothing is showing up because we don't have 2021 as well. So
Yeah.
now if you go back to last 4 years, at least you're getting 2020.
Yeah.
So what my point is, with respect to this data, 2020, so now consider that, hey, this particular organization has been stopped their services uh, from 2021 because of multiple reasons. Consider that as an example. Now, if I want to say last 3 years, I have to showcase last 3 years with respect to that end date. For an example, if I have a data till 2020, how to display from 2020 to 19 and 18, right? Those 3 years. Understand, right? So in that case, so what we can do is we just edit the filter. We have an option called as anchor related to date. Okay. So select anchor related to date. Instead of the current date, today's date, you have a flexibility to go for 2020. You just type in year and select December. Okay. So that's what we have data till December 31st. Or that. Understand, right? So this way you can select a specific date, click apply. Now clearly you can see if I say last 3 years with respect to 2020, you're able to get last years of sales. For the same thing, if you go for last 3 years of sales here, right, you can clearly see you're also getting last years of sales. I mean, we used anchor related to date. With respect to that, we are getting from 2022. But if I say, if I edit the filter, I remove anchor related to date, obviously we'll get current year and previous 2 years. This is for the regular data, right? But when you go back to the 2017 and 20, right, that particular data source, we can clearly see last 2 years of sales. Perfect. That way we can set anchor related to date. Any questions here?
No.
Okay. So importantly, we have global filter. So what exactly global filter is? This is a straightforward option, but let me showcase that. So whenever you're going to create, if you have multiple data sources and you're dealing with filters, so that that is also going to help based on some of the options. But let's understand. Let's say I'm going to create. I'm going to use first file. Okay, not 2017-20. Regular current file, category wise, subcategory wise sales. So now, let's say in general, it depends on the requirement whether we can prefer this apply to worksheets all using this data source or selected workbooks or all these options. So this is what the option to go for global filter. So what exactly the global filter is? If you unselect some part of data, it has to do the same thing in all over the sheets. But before moving on to that, let's say I'll create a simple report, category level data, and I'll create another report. This is subcategory level. Okay. So let me go for category level of data and remove this. And let's create a pie chart. And when you go back to the category level of data, I'll add category into color. Okay. So
Okay.
now, so you have category level and you have category filter, and I will also use subcategory filter here. Now go to dashboard. I'll add category. Don't require this for now. And I will also add subcategory here. So now I have category and subcategory by sales. Okay. Consider this is the dashboard. And now our requirement is to go for a filter condition. Let's say if I unselect furniture, here, what happened here? Yeah, if I unselect furniture, you can clearly see it is only reflecting here in category level, correct? It's not applying to subcategory level of data. You understand, right? So we are in the dashboard, but whenever you're going to apply the filter, it's not applicable for all the sheets in the dashboard, only category level of data. But if you go back to subcategory, so subcategory level of data, you can filter out, right? You can see this is changing for subcategory. So subcategory filter is working for subcategory sheet. Category filter is working for category sheet. But in the dashboard, we will expect everything to work, right? For all, most of the, for everything in the, whatever the sheets present in the dashboard. Got it?
Okay, subcategory and the pie chart. Where did you get the pie chart from?
Bar chart is like subcategory, and this is category.
Okay.
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 You understand, right? So there are two different sheets, two different levels, category and subcategory level of data. And what I'm saying is we can use, we have filters. We have filters for both the sheets individually. But when it comes to dashboard level, so everyone will expect, let's say, if you want to get more clarity, let's say I'll add.
Yeah, I got it now. Now I see the sheet. The sheet is where you get the yeah. One is category, one is subcategory. I got it.
Yeah. These are two different sheets. Clearly, when you unselect technology, you don't have technology. This is working fine. But when you see subcategory level, right, you have technology as well. It's not filtering out.
Yeah, because it's checked.
No, it's working fine in the category sheet, but it's not working for this particular sheet because there's no related, there is no relation with this filter to the other sheet. Understand, right? In that case, one of the easiest ways, you just click on this drop-down filter. So there is an option called as apply to worksheets. Let's go for selected worksheets, not all using this data source for now. Go for selected worksheets. If you do this, how many sheets are here in the dashboard? Select all on dashboard. You can see you're getting only the sheets present in the dashboard. Just click on select all on dashboard. Okay. Or if you show all worksheets in the workbook, you'll get a lot many. Then you'll get a lot of confusion here. So unselect this and target all the sheets within the dashboard. Okay, click OK. Now go to presentation mode. Now when you unselect technology, see, you're getting only these two, furniture and office supplies. When you unselect office supplies, clearly it is working for both the sheets, correct? When you unselect furniture, nothing is showing up. Perfect. So that way we can use apply to worksheets, selected worksheets. In the selected worksheets, you just select all on dashboard. Even though we have option here, right click and apply to worksheets, selected worksheets. If you do this, you'll get all the sheets and you'll get some confusion over it. Even it is also flexible, but when you're dealing with dashboard level, it is pretty easy to go back to the dashboard and select from there.
Okay.
Because this option is present, select all on dashboard, and if you require to go for other worksheets in the workbook, yes, you can showcase that. So if you want to go for the data source, I mean, whatever the filter you wants to apply for all using the data source, you can also do that, all using this data source. You can see the symbol will change, and everywhere you can see the same filter, category filter, you can see. Each and every sheet, you can see the category filter, but not with the other data source. For example, we connected to 2017 and 20, the anchor date, right? Not here. We cannot see the category filter because this is coming from the different data source. So that is the reason why we have a flexibility to go for all using this data source or select a worksheets or only for this worksheet. This is default only for this worksheet. But clearly there is additional option introduced. This one, all using related data source. This all using related data source will give you functionality where you can see you're getting now in the new worksheet, right? With the relationship between these two, right? You are able to also use the same filter condition from this superstore category filter. So that way, this is purely, I mean, this was introduced while working with multiple data sources, right? And if you want to go for so this is already selected. Okay. So go back to dashboard. Let me do this again. Apply to worksheets, selected worksheets. Select all on dashboard. Let's see if this will change the regular filter or not. Yes, this is changed. Clear? So you can make use of selected worksheets or all using the data source, whatever the data source we are using, right? So whatever the worksheets we have, if you want to apply the same filter for all the worksheets, we can use all using the data source. Perfect. Any questions? You're on mute. So we have cascading filter. Okay. And then we'll go for context filter. So global filter, yes, we have a flexibility to right click and apply to worksheets, select a worksheets. So we can do this. I mean, you have an option to go for apply to worksheets. Apply to worksheets. So here we have option called as only to this worksheet or selected worksheets or all using data source. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have cascading filter. Cascading filter is nothing but it shows only the relevant data. Okay. So that's a pretty straightforward option, but let's see this. So for an example, we already seen this example, right? So let's say if I unselect technology, you can see, yeah, this looks good. You don't have technology in the report. Here also no technology. If I unselect office supplies, and you can clearly see furniture here and also this furniture. Perfect. But what I mean to say is if you unselect anything, if you unselect everything, and if you look into this report, nothing is there, nothing is showing up. But you can clearly see the subcategory filter, right? So even though we didn't select anything, why should we display all the subcategories? Correct.
Yeah.
So that is what we are going to discuss here. That is what cascading filter. So for an example, I have a country. I have a country here, United States. Probably we have applied the data source filter, right? And we loaded only US data. Okay. I have both the countries, Canada and US. And let's say, for example, you have a state. Okay. So now we have country and state. Even you can go for cities, right? So you apply filter condition. For example, we have state and the country and also city show filter. So what exactly the cascading filter is, or I mean, the relevant value is. So when you look into this report, right, you have Canada and US, and you have other filters as well. The point here is whenever I'm going to unselect Canada, right? So let's go for the single value drop down. When you select only United States, it has to showcase only the states belongs to US, right? If I select Canada, it has to display only the states belongs to Canada, right? That is what one. Yes, the report is working fine. Let's say when you select Canada, it shows Canada. It looks good. But what about this state? What about cities? It's showing up everything, right? All the states belongs to US. So in that case, a simple option called as click on this drop down state. There's an option called as only relevant values. Okay. See, even for city as well, we can display only relevant values. And clearly you can see country and state and city, right? So let's say if I select United States, you'll see all the states belongs to US. If I'm going to select Canada, this will display all the states belongs to Canada. Okay. So for an example, if I go for state as well, let's go for multiple values drop down. Let's say I'll go for Canada, I'll go for US, and let's say I will unselect all the data first. That's one thing. Unselect everything. Now, if I select only Texas, this will give you the Texas related cities. Understand, right?
Yes.
These are all the cities belongs to Texas. So if I'm going to select Vermont, this has to display only the cities belongs to Vermont. If I'm going to select Washington DC, this has to display the cities belongs to Washington. So that is what the functionality of cascading filter, like a parent and child information, right? So it won't display unnecessary all other information, right? So even when you unselect the filter right here, so for an example, if I have Canada, in the drop-down of state, I don't want to display all other unwanted data for the users, right? So based on the user selection, this will display only let's say if you select a particular state, it will display that particular state related cities. Okay. That is what one of the advantage with cascading filter, and it's important in real time. Okay. This is what cascading filter. So we have one last concept is like a context filter. Context filter is an independent filter, and context filter is an independent filter. Okay, so it looks gray color in the filter shelf. It may showcase that context filter. For an example, if you add category, subcategory wise sales, let's show the filter. If you click on drop down, and you can clearly see the option called as context filter. Understand, right? The context filter is an independent filter. Whenever you are going to use context filter, this will create a temporary table internally. Okay, so let me showcase that. I mean, let me give you the points here. Context filter is nothing but it shows gray color in the filter shell, and it lists top in the filter shell. Okay, it lists top, and it is independent filter. It is independent filter, and basically this will give you, I mean, it creates temporary table. Okay, it creates a temporary table when we create context filter. Okay, so context filter is an independent filter. It creates a temporary table, temp table, temp tables when we create a context filter. So let me showcase that. So whenever you're going to add, for an example, you can see order wise categories, top, subcategory. Even you can change this, okay, change the order. First subcategory or second subcategory, you can change the order. But whenever you're going to right click and you can see add to context. So clearly you can see the context filter shows top in the filter shell, correct?
Yes.
If I'm going to add both the filters to context, clearly you can see categories also in the context. I mean, categories also drop in the context filter in the filter shell. So by making use of context, I'll tell you the point here. It's not mandatory to go for context filter every time. Even you will get the same result as a regular filter. But this is an additional concept that Tableau have, and this might improve the performance context filter, right? It may help to improve performance. This is one example. We can go for context filter, but it's not mandatory that to use context filter every time in the project level, right? So, but we need to be very careful while handling with context filter, okay? Because for an example, see if you apply context, you cannot change the order. That's what the second point here. Context filter is stop in the filter shell. If you try to bring down this one, right, subcategory down, okay, it's not allowing, right? Every time it's showing subcategory in top. That's what one important point. Okay, so I'll tell you one quick example. Let me use single value list. One example for independent filter concept is when you go for a context filter, as I said, if you have any calculations or any conditions, you need to be a bit careful while handling with context filter. For an example, I'll show top 10 sales, okay? I'll show top 10 sales based on subcategory. And this is a report, right? And let me use this entire. And I have both category and subcategory filter, right? So in this case, we have when you select furniture, this will give you furniture, office supplies, and technology, right? Whenever I'm going to use filter condition, that is, I want to display top 10 by sum of sales, just to display top 10. And clearly you can see we're getting top 10 sales, correct? So out of some number, for example, if you remember, let's go back. In furniture, we have 4 records. In technology, we have 4 records. Remember this count. In office supplies, we have 9.
Right.
Out of 4, this is FT4, okay, furniture and technology 4, and this is 9. Out of 17 records, if you apply filter top 10, we are getting 10 records. And out of 4, we are getting 3 in top 10, right? In furniture, overall we have 4. We are getting 3. In office supplies, we are getting 3, but total number of records in general. In office supplies, how many records we have? You remember?
9 before, but now we have.
Yes, 9 records. Perfect. Right. So now out of 9 records, we're able to see 3 records in 10. So what I mean to say is, if you are going for context filter, let's say, if I'm going to apply context filter on top of category, add to context, and clearly you can see the 10 records. But whenever I'm going to select, let's do this. When you select furniture, how many records you're getting? 3, because out of top 10, yeah, we are able to see 3 records. These are the 3 records we have in the out. When you select office supplies, you should get 3. Technology 4. 4 out of 4 in the top 10. Right? That's what it is. But
Okay,
whenever
why is technology 4?
No, in technology, based on the number only, okay? Why is in the sense it's there in the based on the sales value, okay?
Okay, the value of the
Yes,
sales. Okay.
the value of the sales here.
Technology has higher value.
Yeah, higher value. Correct. Based on the value, it's picking up in the top 10. Understand it? So
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
now if I select furniture, we'll get 3. But now if you apply context filter, clearly see the difference here. You're getting 4. We actually have 3, but you can clearly see 4 records when you apply context filter. If you remove from context, you can see 3. If you add to context filter, you can see the difference. This is where it is recalculating the top 10 at category level, right? If you apply context, it's behaving like an independent filter, and it's trying to display top 10 from here. Instead of showing top 10 for a category level, it is trying to display all the records from category. And additionally, we have top 10 filter, right? So yeah, that's the thing here.
Okay, yeah, I understand it.
If you remove context, it will show 3. If you go for office supplies, it will display 3. But if you apply context,
you show more.
All the records.
But because you're looking for 10. So yeah, we'll give you 9.
Yes. But remember, the limitation is 10. If you have more than 10, it won't display. That is what the concept like is. That is like an independent filter. It's behaving like an individual filter when you consider this example. Okay. But
I got it.
But someone asks like, hey, if you are going to use context, if you are seeing wrong data instead of 3, what is the solution? So yes, don't if you see any mismatch in the data, try to apply everything as a context. Now, if I apply both filters as a context, clearly you can see you're getting correct results, 3 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
So that way you can differentiate between the regular filter and context. Context filter for sure it helps, but not every time we are going to use context. As if we have a lot many filters, there are challenges because it will create a lot many temporary tables. So that doesn't work. Yes, that gives some challenges, but yes, that is also one possibility where you can use context, for a better performance. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me create a new workbook for hierarchies. So we have a concept called as hierarchies. What exactly hierarchy? So hierarchies are nothing but it's like a parent and child relationship. Hierarchies are nothing but it's like a parent and child relationship. Okay. So if you go for hierarchies, it helps. It depends on the data. But for an example, let's go for orders table. And the default hierarchy we have in general with the sample superstories date column. Okay, if you double click on order date, this will give you year-wise sales, correct? But one option you can clearly see before year-wise sales is you have an option called as plus symbol, correct? There is an option called as plus symbol. If you click on this plus symbol, it will drill down to the next level, correct? If you click on this plus symbol, I mean from year to quarter, quarter to month, and month to day. Clear? So this is what the default hierarchy which we have here. So this is the default hierarchy, right? So we can use hierarchies. Can use hierarchies. So to drill down or drill across. Drill up is also fine. Drill down and drill up is same. So, but we have these options. I mean, and drill down and drill up, drill across. So you can create any level of hierarchies. For example, creation of hierarchy is pretty straightforward. Let's say you have category and subcategories like a parent and child, right? So you can simply drag and drop any dimension on top of other. This will create a hierarchy. So when you drop hierarchy into rows, or when you drop the parent dimension into rows, this will give you the plus symbol, right? You can see you can drill down to category to subcategory level. Clearly, we can create hierarchies based on the user request. Sometimes user wants to drill down to a different level, or even we can also create to reduce those number of or to identify the similar dimensions, similar subject area, right? For example, we have country. So to create a hierarchy, as I said, that even if you want to add here, you can see there is no plus symbol for subcategory, correct? Next level, nothing is there, only category to subcategory. If I want to add product, you can drag and drop product name here directly. If you want to drop product under subcategory, just you can clearly see the line, right? You just drop here and click on the plus symbol. Perfect. Now you're able to see plus symbol for subcategory. And then next product. Clear?
Yep.
But another way to, we can drag and drop it. Another way to create a hierarchy is like you can just right click on country. You can see hierarchy. You can create a hierarchy, new hierarchy. That is like geographical hierarchy. Okay. So now if I want to add the next level, let me rename this to only country, not region. Now I can add region, right click, hierarchy, add to existing hierarchy, right? You can see you have two hierarchies. You can clearly see, you can select geographical hierarchy where it is added to here. Next, I can add state hierarchy and to geographical hierarchy. Or even as I said it, you can drag and drop. You can simply drag and drop wherever you want, like below that country or region or state. So now when you add country to the rows, drill down. Perfect. So these are all the symbols, right? You can see here different differentiation. This one. Okay. Clear? So this is what hierarchy. So basically, one of the advantage with hierarchy is like you can drill down. That is one thing, and even you can also reduce the number of dimensions here, right? You can move everything under hierarchy based on the subject. Let's say geographical data in one hierarchy, customer information in one hierarchy, like product information in one hierarchy, something like that. So you can also create hierarchies from different level. Let's say segment is different all over and shipping mode is different, right? So not only like parent and child, other than parent and child also, we can create like a drill drill across. Okay, so you can create any hierarchy. You can create, but we can use only dimensions. We can create a hierarchy, and we can use that to any level of extension. That is what one advantage with hierarchy. So tomorrow we'll go through the differentiation between groups and set. Okay, we'll discuss in detail what exactly group and set. Any questions so far?
No, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I'll share the recordings.
All right. I will, before the weekend, I will send something to Manuel to send to you. And just, this is our rent.
Yeah.
This is our rent period.
Yeah.
That's not so much. Yeah.
So we have discussed hierarchies in the last class, and we do have groups and set, right? So what actually groups and what is set? So groups are like it's. I mean, we can create a group on top of dimension and also on top of measures, but groups are static. Right? Groups are static, and we can create groups on top of using dimensions and also measures. But majorly we'll use on top of dimensions. Okay, we don't prefer groups on top of measures because of static functionality. Okay, so let me showcase that. So how it helps in the sense there are cases where I mean in real time there might be a chance of grouping some part of data. For an example, we have category and subcategory, right? And like we grouped like there are different products actually. So if you look into the products, there are different products. So for example, these products, right? If you consider this set of products, this comes under bookcases, correct? And it's under furniture category. Understand, right? So that way they actually they created a group on top of these products into bookcases. And even if you remove the filter and these bookcases, chairs, furnishings, and tables comes under furniture, right? So that is, we already have that, right? We already have these particular columns and not required to create a group. But for an example, so let's go with the subcategory by sales. And now if I want to group some set of elements instead of going for category, for example, if I want to group from A to C, right? So you just right click on the subcategory, create a group. So you can manually create, that is, as I said, it is static. So you can select whatever the elements and you have an option to go for a group. Okay. And you can tell that like this is like, hey, this A to C. That's not the proper way to, I mean, not the actual group we are creating, right? We're just creating a sample group, right? So if you want to include other, you can have an option to go for other. So this is like a subcategory group, like a parent and child relationship, right? So you're grouping already existing dimensional data elements into a different group, correct? So this is what groups. But for an example, so we have a month, right? Let's say we don't have month straight away, but we have order date. So let's create a month field, okay? So let's use calculated field and let's create a month of order date. This will give you month number. Okay. So now let's use month number in the report. You can see 12 months. So I want to create a report called as season wise sales. Okay. So now what are all the four seasons, right? So four seasons generally we have spring, summer, fall, and winter, correct? You understand, right? So now, if you wants to showcase something like the same information, so we have to go for a creation of group, right? Or we can create a calculator field, right? So now, what are all the, like we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. So let's create a group, right? So you can create a group, right click, and on top of month number, I'm going to create a group. Okay. So what exactly the spring? Let's say we create a spring from March, April, and May, right? If I'm not, let me know. This is spring, and summer is from June, right? June, July, August, and we have fall, September, October, and we do have winter from the last summer, December, and manually you can select using control. I'm using control to select and select this. Perfect. So now let me use this naming convention as seasons. Okay, it's just 4 seasons. We don't have seasons in general in our data, correct? But we just created a calculated field, or like a, sorry, I mean group, not calculated field. So, and we can use that group into report. So that way, instead of showing month level, so I can say, hey, this is what season wise sales, right? So, and you can do some analysis where in a particular, like in what season we're getting more number of sales. Now we can validate by using month number. Let's place month number to verify what are all the months. See, I mean, fall, you can see more number of sales happening. Even in December, yes, if you go back to December month, yes, you can see because of the holiday season, right? So the last quarter, you can see more number of sales in general for retail, correct? So, but consolidated, you can see fall is getting more sales than other seasons, correct? So that way we can create a group. Yeah. Even groups, as I said, that groups are static. This is important. And we can create a group like season by sales. Let me create a, let me take this, capture this group. So we have, even we can create, even we can use groups on top of measures. For an example, you can say create group, but we don't recommend this because tomorrow the sales value might change, right? The measure value might change. So in that case, we don't go static. We don't go for the sales like or a, I mean, group on top of these measured values, right? I mean, if that changes, it doesn't make sense, correct? So instead of doing that, we can generally use a calculator field like, hey, sales greater than something, then we can display some value, right? So that's what the point here. So we can use um, groups on top of dimensions. That's the best way to go for it. If it, I mean, if it is static. In future, if that if it changes, right? Let's say, for an example, in future the fall might changes to a different months, then it's not recommended to go for a group, right? So most of the cases, like let's say you have a month number, I mean we can create a quarter using calculator field, right? Or we can use some functions to get quarter, but even I can also create a group on top of month number to get quarter, right? Simply you can say, hey, first 3 months, right? You can say first 3 months, you can name it as q1, and the next three you can group to q2. So that way, you can click on group and say Q3. Q4. Perfect. So you can say quarter by sales, correct? So we have functions. I mean, we can create straight away, create a calculator field. You have a function called as quarter. Before, I do feel before 2018 or 2019, we don't have a quarter function. Okay. But now they are implementing, they added quarter function here in the calculator fields in functions. And even before that, instead of quarter, we have some date functions as well, like date part and date name. So here also we can use quarter. But before that, we don't have a straightforward functionality, direct function. We have date part, but we don't have a direct function called as quarter. So now we have quarter, no worries about that. But this is just an example, okay? So we can create group on top of dimension values, right? And we can use that as a dimension, okay? And we can also create a calculator field. So we can create a calculator field using groups, okay? So before 10th version, I think we don't have an option to create a calculator field. Let's say I have a quarter, right? And or even let's say seasons, like 4 seasons. I have a season-wise sales report. Now I want to write a calculation field. Even in the before 10th version, if you type in 4 seasons, right? It doesn't show, it doesn't allow in the calculator field. That's a limitation. But now we can write a calculation field. If 4 seasons equal to like summer, and then I want to display sales, else, or else go for end. That's it. Okay, this is like a summer sales. Okay, just double click. So now if you look into this, you don't have any other sales coming up here because we just write an if condition, wrote an if condition where you can see summer sales, correct? So that way we can create a calculator field to display those results. But before that, it's not possible. Before 10th version, as I said, groups, it doesn't allow us to create a calculated field, right? If we want to filter out some part of data, then we have to choose another option, probably set, right? So that is the reason we have an option to go for set as well. But now we can create a group. Even we can also use the calculator fields using groups. Okay. Any questions so far?
No question.
Yeah. Okay. So groups can be, we can include groups in hierarchies. For example, we have quarter, and even we have quarter is a calculated, month is a calculated field, but quarter is a group. I want to drill down from quarter to month. So I can create a hierarchy, and you can see here we have quarter to drill down. See, quarter is a group, right? So and I'm able to drill down from quarter to month. So that way we can also we can include groups. We can include groups in hierarchies. Okay. So groups, but the only thing is group is static, and it's not like a dynamic functionality where, for example, one more interesting point where they have added in 2018, around 2018, 2019 version, is like, let's go back to customer name. Okay, let me create a group on top of customer name. And see, like you have an option called as find. Okay, they included this before, we don't have, but one of the exceptional options they have included is find. Okay, in the drop down, they have given contains, starts with, and exactly match. I'm not sure exactly match is recommended or not, but I do feel ends with might help instead of exactly match, because exactly match is like you have to provide the complete naming convention, right? We have seen that, correct? In filters. So groups, sorry. So in group, like when you create, whenever you're going to create, for an example, I want to consolidate, not consolidate, yeah, kind of a naming convention. I want to a group, let's say the customer name starts with, right? You have a starts with, right? So customer name starts with Adam. Okay. So find all. So we are not sure exactly how many number of records with Adam, but yes, it's showing up. Let's click on group. So we have only 3, right? So Adam starts with Adam, correct? And for example, I want to create another group which contains John. Just checking contains John. Find all. So there are somewhere else, right? So it's not like straight away serial. It's it continues, right? Somewhere we have contains John, right? So there are some set of records. So see, here there are few set of records John, right? So let's click on group so that you'll understand, right? So these are the records contains John, and let's say I'll go for another group like Sun contains Sun. So let me click on group. I'll say Sun and click apply. Let's include other, click apply. So we have customer name. So you can see there is an Adam star, John, Sun, and other. If he wants to rename, if some like if he wants to go for a proper naming convention, hey, instead of Adam star, let's say you can say starts with Adam, or instead of Sun, let's say contains, right? Contains Sun, right? And I can say contains John. Contains John, something like that, right? Clear? So now you can double click on customer name so that, so for an example, if you exclude customer name group, show filter, let's exclude other for now. But you can see there are customer names, name starts with Adam, correct? And there are customer name contains John, right? So here you can see these customers contains John. Interestingly, one interesting point you can see is John is here is also there, John, correct? But it prefers Sun, correct? So you have contains John. This is very interesting. This Johnson is possible, right? Is Johnson can have, it should be here is also right? Because John is present, John is available in Johnson, Sun is also available in Johnson, correct? Both are true, but in this case it is a bit tricky. So, but default, if I say the second group I created is Sun, automatically picked from here, and it's created under Sun, correct? So it depends, but if he wants to change manually, if he wants to showcase this Johnson to John, we can manually make use of that. We can convert or we can modify the group. But this is where one of the exceptional functionality they have added in Tableau in groups is you can find members. Before that, we don't have, right? If you want to add something manually, it is very difficult if you are dealing with more number of records, correct? It's a bit challenge, but they have given this particular option to go for the find option. Okay, so that's the interesting part here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have groups, and we'll discuss set actually. So we have a concept called as set. So what actually set? Set in general, like set is a filter condition. Okay. Set is a filter condition. I mean, we can create a set. We can create, constant set, conditional set, and combined set. Okay. So we can create constant set, conditional set, and combined set. Similarly, similar to groups, we can also create a set, static sets. Okay. So let me connect to data. So now, set is very important. I do feel set helps a lot in few set of cases where it, for an example, let's go for, let's create a set on top. We can, when you right click on a dimension, right? So you can say create a set, right? But when you right click on a measure, you don't have an option to create a set. You have an option to go for bins, but no set option here. So we can create set using dimensions. Okay, I'll make use of this here. You can create a constant set. You can create constant set, conditional set, and combined set. Okay, set is a filter condition. So if you look into this subcategory wise, for an example, I have subcategory wise sales. In different ways, we can use, as I said, I do feel this is one important thing. So for an example, if you have a subcategory by sales, and let me display those labels, right? We have subcategory by sales. And for an example, if you want to differentiate with color, we generally write a calculator field, correct? But even if you right click on subcategory and create a set, so as I said, a constant set, right? Subcategory set, I can say constant. I'm just using constant naming convention. We can also say static. So for an example, I'll select some set of data, right? A to C, right? A to C, let's click OK. So this is the set we created, right? Subcategory set. Now, if you drop set into report, into rows or columns, this will showcase in and out. So whatever the in values, right? Whatever the data you selected, I mean, the check boxes, right? It shows as in, and the other values are out, correct? So when you drag and drop subcategory set into color, you can differentiate with in and out, okay? So default, you're getting some blue and grayed out. Set out values, it will showcase grayed out, but let me say as in values is in orange and out is like grayed out. Okay. Let me remove the sorting. Now you can see these are all the in values, A to C, and these are out values, exclude. So this will clearly showcase in and out. But for an example, if I just drop into filters, if I drop subcategory set into filters, this will straight away filter out the data. It doesn't show exclude out values. Okay, there is an option. It has a couple of options here. Show members in a set. If you apply a filter, this will showcase members in the set. Or if you want to showcase as in and out, this will give you in and out. Okay. If you say show filter, this will showcase in and out. Okay. If you unselect out, this will give you the in values. Both the options are available. Like if you want to showcase only the members in the set, this will showcase only the selected values, right? Or you can go for in and out as we are showing here in values, right? And we have both in and out. Okay. This is a constant set. We can create a conditional set. For an example, let's create a state. And let me apply filter condition on top of country. So we have both US and Canada. So let me display only United States data for now. And let's increase the size of the bubble. Okay. So now, for an example, we have sales. We have sales into labels if you want to display those numbers, or if you want to go for profit into labels. There are some negative values, it seems. Correct. Here you can see there is a negative value here. It's negative. Few set of negative values. Now, if you want to create a set on top of state, for example, let's go for a state, create a set. Select use all. There is an option to go for condition, right? So by field, select state, right? Oh, sorry, by field, not state sales, because we are writing a condition based on state and based on the on top of state and based on measure value, right? So we have a, so I'm sorry, we are using profit, right? So not even sales. Sum of sales greater than or equal to 0, right? You can click OK. This will give you a set, and we just created a calculated field. We can create a calculated field and we can write, hey, sum of sales greater than 0, then green else, right? Or you can also do this. You just create a set differentiating those two, like, I mean, just write a condition, and that way it will give you in value, and you can also go for out values, grayed out. If you want to display different color, for example, in value, I can go for green, out value, I can say orange, right? Even you can use some shapes, right? And we can display different shapes as well. So more shapes. Yeah. we can use different shapes and if you want to go for set into states, set into shapes, you'll get a couple of shapes. I mean, in values and out values. Like, let's prefer something like a filled shapes. In is like a star and out values is like a this one. Okay. Let's change the color. In values is green and out values is red. Even you can drop same thing into size. I do feel it's not allowing. Set is not allowing into size. Oh, it's okay. So, and you can go for reverse because I don't want to prefer the red in the high, I mean, the large in size. You can edit here. You can edit sizes, reverse way, the reverse. That way stars will comes up. Here, so, okay. Clear? So wherever you have negative, negative values, you can see in red in color. So it's not mandatory, but I'm just highlighting that. Clear? So we can go for a conditional set. We can go for a conditional, and we can also go for constant, conditional, and combined set. So what exactly the advantage of combined set is? Like combined set helps to display, I mean, it helps to display top 5 and bottom 5 sales, or top n and bottom n sales, right? That is a bigger advantage with the set. So for an example, even not only top 5, I mean top n, okay? So if you go for subcategory wise sales, okay? So we have an option to display, for example, if you drop, if you drop subcategory into filter and you have top 5, correct? You can display top 5. That is possible. But for an example, if I want to display top bottom 5, it is also possible. But both at a time, it's a big challenge. Okay. So in that case, what I mean to say is, instead of doing that, create a set, right? Right click on subcategory, create a set, and use all. Go to top, and let's say this is top 5. Subcategory, subcategory, top 5. Create another set, create another set, and I can say bottom 5. Bottom 5 set. Okay. So we have both top 5 and bottom 5 set. If you drop top 5 into color, this will give you top 5. It's differentiating, right? Top 5 in blue by default and remaining is grayed out. If you drop bottom 5 into color, we are just testing, okay? We are just testing whether we are getting top 5 and bottom 5. Now combined, if you drop top 5 into color, filters, and bottom 5 into filters, both in filter straight away doesn't work either because of the AND condition, AND operator between these two. So instead of doing that, we have a flexibility between the sets. Okay. So just right click. You have an option to go for combined set. So click on combine, combination of both top 5 and bottom 5, and you can clearly see all members in both the sets. Okay. And you can see this is combined set. And just drop combined set into color to differentiate top 5 and bottom 5 in one color, and else that is remaining in different color. But it's not required to display out values, right? So just drop combined set into filters straight away to display top 5 and bottom 5. Top 5 and bottom 5. Okay. So this is the advantage of set where we can create top 5 and bottom 5 sales in one single go. Even I'll showcase. We can also go for other options. I'll tell you that. To display going forward, and even we can also use parameters. Correct. I'll showcase. We can, instead of top 5 and bottom 5, we can go for top 10, bottom 10, top n and bottom n. That is also possible. Okay.
Right.
So we'll start. actions tomorrow. So we'll go for actions. Tomorrow, tomorrow I'm not available in the morning, so my morning. So I will connect the next day. Okay.
Okay, Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So we're actually going through set, right? And we created a top 5 set and bottom 5 set. That is one advantage here, right? So we can create a top 5 and bottom 5. And by making use of both top 5 and bottom 5, we can create a combined set, right? To display the combination of both top and bottom 5 sets, right? That is what we have discussed in the last class. So we have done with the, constant set, conditional set, and combined set. Okay. Even set can be used in calculations, like we can create a calculated field using set. Okay. So for an example, this is one of the advantage. Let me showcase that. It's taking time to display. So yeah. So let's say I have subcategory wise. I have subcategory wise sales, and for an example, if you want to capture some part of data, like the filter condition, right? Yeah, let's say if subcategory equal to art and subcategory equal to appliances, accessories, right? Then I want to display something else, something like, let me showcase that. So it helps a lot actually, instead of writing multiple if conditions or a kind of a case statements. So let me showcase that example. First of all, we need to create a set, sorry. So you can right click, create a set, or even we already have a set right here. You can see, let me edit this set. So let's go for only A, starts with A, right? Accessories, appliances, art. I know this is a constant set, right? We already have this constant set. Okay. So now, if you drop this, it will clearly show in values and out values, correct? Now let me write a calculated field. If so, category set, then sales end. Is that valid? Directly, you cannot say like, hey, if the subcategory equal to something, then sales else, something like that, right? So instead of doing that, straight away you can create a set and you can say, hey, this is like a set calculation. Just an example, okay? But if you double click, oh, okay. So what I have done is I typed in sales here. It's wrong, right? I have to go for the actual sales. Sorry for that. So it has to convert into measure. Got it? So we are getting only sales for those subcategories. If he wants to write a condition, if he wants to go for let's say if subcategory equal to accessories, appliances, or art, then I want to display sales. How we can write is, we can say there is one more inclusion. If subcategory equal to accessories, right? Right. And subcategory equal to, instead of that, we have an option to go for in operator. So Tableau introduced an operator called as in. You can clearly see there is an option called as in. And in the bracket, you can type in accessories, appliances, art. Then maybe I'm not putting, is that expecting a flow again? accessories from our plans. So here it is. I missed. Sorry. I think we are good. Then sales. This is easy, right? I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Instead of writing if subcategory equal to accessories and the subcategory equal to appliances and the subcategory equal to art. That is what they before, right? We have to write the previous versions, but they introduced in operator. Okay, with the inclusion of in operator. So this is very easy to work on. Perfect. We're getting the same thing, right? And which one is easy? You can simply create a set, right? Just create a set, select instead of typing, correct? In the in operator function, you have to type in accessories, appliances, art. Let's say if you have 10 to 15 elements to select to type in, it's very tough. In that case, we can go with the set. So that is the advantage of set, I can say, while writing the calculator field. Okay. Even we can include set in, we can include sets in hierarchies, but it depends. Like set is a filter condition. We don't, it depends. We can recommend or not. It depends on the situation. For an example, we have a combination set, right? Combined set, and we do have a subcategory here. So let me create a hierarchy on top of combination set and subcategory. Let's see. Let me drop combination set. This will clearly give you the in and out, right? And what exactly this will give you is the top 10, I mean, top 5 and bottom 5. It's a combination of top 5 and bottom 5. You'll get clearly here. It's a combination of top 5 and bottom 5. And this is excluding out values. Understand, right?
Yeah.
So it's a combination set, right? Combination is like 10, you'll get 10 records. It's a top 5 and bottom 5. So these are the top 5 and these are the bottom 5. And remaining, it comes under exclusion, right?
Yeah, outside.
Outside, yeah. So that's what I mean, it depends, but yes, we can also include set in hierarchies. That's what the point here. Okay.
Okay.
So we have the next concept is actions. We have different types of actions. So actions plays a major role. Of an example, like, and we have even generally they introduced additional options. We'll go through that. We can see we have filter action, highlight action, URL action. Go to sheet is fine, but you can also use parameter actions and also set values, change set values. Okay, you can go through these options also. So filter action is one of the important actions we used to see in real time generally. So for an example, generally we used to go for filters, right? But let's say I'll create a simple report. Let me use a pie chart. And we have a subcategory wise sales information here. And this is category level, sorry. And let me create another report. Category wise sales. I'll use category into color. Even I can say category into rows to display, to segregate, okay, to differentiate each category, right? I don't want to place, but yes, I just want to showcase that, hey, this is a category information. This is subcategory level data. Subcategory. So go to dashboard, have both category and subcategory information. Let me use automatic. Now we have two different sheets, right? Instead of dashboard, let's go back to sheet level first, okay? So in the sheet level, if you select something, let's say if I click on technology, it has to display technology related information in. I can navigate to other sheet, right? Subcategory sheet. So go to worksheet. We can apply actions at worksheet level, right? We can apply actions at worksheet level and dashboard. Okay. So now click on drop down filter. You have both, right? You have source category and subcategory, and you do have target category and subcategory, correct? So now my source is category sheet, my target is subcategory, and I'll go for select. Okay. For now, I'm going to explain one more time tomorrow, but just a quick option. So, see, I'm unable to select. I mean, it's not showing the OK button, right? So first is cancel, then click OK, right? So let me use tab. Okay. So I got the action got saved. Click OK. So my source is category sheet, target is subcategory. So now this is at sheet level, not in the dashboard. When you click on technology, you can clearly see it is navigating to the subcategory sheet, correct? Understand, right? So when you click on office supplies in the category level, it is navigating to subcategory level sheet. So even we can work from, work on worksheet level actions, but major part, right? So majorly we will create actions at dashboard level. Okay. So let me do that. So let me go back to worksheet actions and let me remove this. So that way we can prefer. So go to dashboard, actions. So you have filter actions. And URL actions. And you can also pass parameter values and also set. I'll showcase that. In the filter action, click on drop down, filter. My source is within the dashboard level, right? You can see this is the dashboard. Source is category, target is subcategory here. Even let's go for select for now. Okay. Click OK. So now this is pretty flexible, right? When you click on furniture, this will give you furniture data. When you click on technology, you can clearly see technology information and office supplies. Got it? So this is for purely for interactivity. So this is more interactive when you compare with other functionalities. That is what one of the advantage with actions. Got it? So even we can go for some of the options in actions. For example, you can just simply go for hover. Okay. I'm using hover. So when you just place the cursor, right, mouse over, you can see the data is changing. So when you mouse over on technology, it's showing up technology. When you mouse over on office supplies, this will show office supplies data. Perfect. But it's not a multi-selection, right? If you want to go for a multi-selection, you can use select. If you want to go for a single selection, you can choose. Even select is a option where we are going to use in real time mostly. Over very rare cases, just to display some set of information or some counts, right? Some numbers, just to hover. In that case, we can prefer mouse overs, right? Like a tooltip.
Correct.
So one of the challenge here is, for an example, we have very less records. If you use mouse over and I want to place cursor on top of furnishings to display the data. See, when I remove the cursor, it's removed. It's not showing up the filtered values, right? Here is fine. We have very few records, very less records, right? But when you look into when you have huge number of data, then when you mouse over and I want to come back here and I want to check the results, then what we can do is you can go back to worksheet, actions. Even though it's a mouse over, you can keep the filter values. That way, you can, even though you remove the cursor, it will work fine. It's a challenge here. So now whenever I'm going to mouse over on office supplies, when you remove the cursor, see, still it's showing office supplies, correct?
Yeah.
So when you place cursor on top of furniture, remove the cursor, it will show the furniture data. Then you can come back and check the results here. So that way we can keep the filtered values. But one challenge is like you cannot go back again, right? So you cannot show all the subcategories data. That is one thing. So there is one limitation. But that's okay. How to run the report again, how to come back to this.
Yes, fair enough.
So even we have menu option. I'll showcase menu, but that I'll tell you the advantage with menu. So, but there is an option to go for exclude values. For example, let's say I have a three levels. For example, I have country, state, and city, or even I can go for a region. So, for example, I have a region-wise sales. So let's do this. First country, right? So let's say country level data, country-wise sales. Even I can showcase a map view, but let's do this as this one. It's very minimal for Canada. Let's see. Okay. So let's say we'll go for a bar graph, okay? Or let's use a bubble chart. So this is country level. Now let me create a region-wise sales. This is region. And let me go for a state-wise sales. State, I'll go for map view, okay? One of the interesting thing here is like exclude values. Let's drop state into labels. So in the dashboard, you just drop country first, then region, and then state. So let me use minimal space for this. Okay, so we have country, region, and state information. Understand, right? So what I'm going to do is, let's go to dashboard, actions, same filter action. So from first source is like country, then I will go for the next level is region. When you click on select, it has to exclude all values. Okay, when we clear, when you remove the selection, it has to exclude all the values. That's the first one. I'll create another filter action from region to state. Region is my source and destination or target is state. Go to select and exclude. Now I'm showing exclude all values. Okay. Understand, right? So if you don't have a title, then you can clearly see the difference here. But I'm not saying that title is not mandatory or something like that. But let's understand the functionality here. So whenever I'm going to click on Canada, you can clearly see it's showing up 3 regions. And when you select central, this will give you the central information. But you are, what is happening here is it's getting complete for US data as well, right? It's wrong. So we have a kind of a central, we have both for Canada and US, right? So let's unselect here. Let's click on United States. Now you can see we are getting like a pop-up, correct? So nothing is there in the dashboard, right? It's complete white page. So whenever you're going to select a specific country, you can see those regions. And when you click on South, this will give you the South information, right? When you click on West, you can clearly see West information. When you click on Central, this will give you Central data. Perfect. Or even you can go for a city-wise information as well, right? From region to state, state to city, correct?
Yeah.
So that is one advantage here. I mean, with exclude values. Okay, so that is one option. So tomorrow we'll see the highlight actions and the URL actions, and we'll go for the other options as well.
Okay. Some of the stuff you sent, or is it because I don't have Tableau? That's why I can't open some of them.
Oh, yes, you should have the software. Yeah. Just try to install the software, or if you're unable to, I'll help you out. Okay, we'll connect tomorrow and we'll do that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Fred. We'll confirm tomorrow. I'll confirm like the tomorrow's timings. Yeah.
Let's do earlier tomorrow.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
So we actually discussed filter action. Let me go through filter action quickly, and we'll see highlight and URL. So in the next class, I'll showcase set, how we can use set in actions. And then we'll start parameters, and then I'll tell you the parameter actions at the point of time. Okay.
All right.
So, like actions is like this for more for interactivity purpose. But I mean, whenever we are going to do some selection, right? So based on mouse over or selection, so this will display the data instead of going for the traditional way of quick filter, right? So we can just mouse over or just a selection that will give you an idea with it's more interactive, I can say. So that's what the idea here. So this is where we have seen with the filter action, but you can apply actions at worksheet level. So you can go back to worksheet and you can create an action here, or in the dashboard level, go to dashboard, actions, and we can create actions here. So we have, we can use mouse over, or we can say, we can use mouse over, or we can also go for select and menu. Okay, so menu is like I'm going to showcase when we work with URL action. So, but we have the concept called as highlight action. So whenever you are going to apply color, for an example, we have subcategory wise some sales information. If you say, if you just drop category into color, this will highlight, right? When you select, this will give you, it will highlight the data. Okay. So when you select furniture, office supplies and technology, so based on the selection, this will give you the insights. Understand, right?
Yeah.
This is straight away. It's not about actions. But for an example, I have this report, subcategory level data, and let me create another report, category level data. Just a simple example. I'll create a pie chart. So have both subcategory and category level data, and let's create a dashboard on top of this. We'll use automatic. Now, when you look into this, so we have a legend, right? We have legend coming here directly. So we used the category, category is the color in both the sheets, right? For category level and subcategory level, we used both category into color. Even for subcategory level of data, we have category into color. That is the reason we have a common category legend, right? So now nothing to do with actions here. So we can see when you click on furniture, it has to highlight the furniture information in both the sheets. So you can see there is a highlight selected items, that selection. Okay. So now when you click on this will give you, it will select based on the information. Like when you click on technology, you can see technology here, and it is also highlighting the technology information at subcategory level. Understand, right? This is one interesting point where with the legend, but it's not action. We are not yet created any action, highlight action. But I can say that this is one of the flexibility. Even without actions, we can use this to highlight the selected information, not to filter out, right? We are not filtering out, just highlighting. But if you want to go for actions, you go for dashboard, actions. Highlight action, it's pretty simple. We don't have multiple options. What is the source? Category level. What is the target? Subcategory level. And you can go for hover or select. Let's use select. Click OK. So once you create an action, right, this highlighter will disable for, oh, it's still working. That's great. Okay, let me select. Let's see. Version to version, I see some changes. Now, when you select furniture, it's highlighting, right? It's showing up the related information. When you click on furniture, it used to select it, you can also see the selection from here as well, but this is not there in the previous version. Previous version is like 2022.4 or something like that, right? Even it's not there in the last version. So now in 2023, whatever the version we have, right, 2023.1 about Tableau, 2023.1, right? You can clearly see. So from this version, you can, when you select any of the legend, right, you can clearly see it is highlighting. But in the previous version, it won't work once you create an action. Okay, so that's an interesting point. That is the reason I want to show the legend, the importance of this legend without going for highlight action. Even you can make use of this functionality. Clear?
Yep.
So we have URL actions. One of the important, interesting concept is URL actions. So as you know, like we can pass a value. That's what here we can see in the filter action as well. We are going to pass a value. When you say technology, when you click on technology, I mean, in the dashboard level, this will give you the technology information. It's passing technology to the sheet. When you mouse over on furniture, this is passing furniture to subcategory filter. Similarly, so URL action is like whenever you're going to click on something in the Tableau dashboard or Tableau report, it will pass that particular selection information to the URL. So for an example, I have a, interestingly, we have country data. Let me search for that. Data sources, country names, right? You can see country names. I'll connect to that country names. Have all the, have the country names here. Okay. So if you look into this, let me go for the filler map. Let me drop country name into color. Oh, sorry. So for an example, I mean, if you see, if I'm going to select, let's say Brazil, I have to pass this Brazil naming convention to whatever the URL you are going to use. So that way we can make use of the selection. Let's say when I click on United States, this value will pass. So the best example I can see is we have Wikipedia. Wikipedia, let's say USA. Okay. So when I click on United States, you can clearly see the URL, right? So the en.wikipedia or wiki/United States. If I'm going to type in Canada, this will give you the Canada information. So whatever the URL, right? It's the complete URL is static till here. And here you are going to change the value. Let's say if you type in USA, even it will take, I think, so United States. So it's it redirected, right? You can say redirected from USA, but clearly it's showing United underscore States. So that way we can use this URL, copy, and go to URL actions. Even I can say in dashboard, drop, create a dashboard. Go to dashboard, actions, add an action. So here you can see a new tab if no web page object exists. Okay, so you can see new browser tab, but let's click here, control this one. So instead of United States, it's a static one, right? So we can click on this drop down to pass country name. Okay, and you can say Wikipedia country US. So not US, I mean, we can select from the drop down country name. Okay, so click OK. So whenever you're going to click on something, let's say when you click on United States, so this you can see clearly Wikipedia, we selected United States. So that means when you click on this hyperlink, this will open up the United States page. So it's opening in the different browser, Microsoft Edge, right? So now when I clicked on Brazil, this will give you the Wikipedia for Brazil.
Okay.
So that way we can, let's say when I click on India, this will give you Wikipedia India. So one of the advantage here is you can also drag and drop web page instead of going to the browser every time, right? Instead of going through the browser every time. So when you click on, let's say now United States, you can clearly see US data here within the Tableau dashboard, correct? So when you click on Australia, this will give you Australia information. So that way we can display the dynamic functionality. I mean, we can pass a value even to the browser. I know you're getting some disturbance. Sorry for that.
It's all right.
So this is one of the advantage here. I mean, with the URL action, there is one more flexibility with the URL action. I mean, I'll showcase that. There is one more option with URL actions. I'll showcase as well. But if you go back to one of the example, like FIFA rankings, I think FIFA World Cup rankings. FIFA World Cup. This one, when you click on this, this is for men, you can see, right? So so when you scroll down, clearly see Argentina, France, Brazil, right, with those points, correct? It's showing the real time. I mean, not exactly the real time. At least they'll update based on the daily points. Okay, so date 6th April. I mean, this is what I think the latest update I think. Okay. So now when you look into this information, so if I want to know Argentina information, right? So when you click on Argentina, you can see it's passing code actually ARG, not the complete Argentina naming convention. So I cannot use country name to work with this, right? I cannot say country name to the URL Argentina, right? If I pass Argentina this naming convention using actions, this doesn't work, correct? This doesn't work. I mean, what I mean to say, if I'm going to type, if I'm going to type in Brazil, click enter, you can see it's showing, sorry, we cannot find the web page. So it is only considering the short names, I mean the code, country code. Okay, this web page. So in that case, what is the thing is we have to use codes actually. I actually have country code as well. If you look into this, we have ARG, right? You can use ARG, Argentina information and the country codes to pass a value. Now go to this web page, and what you can do is, this is like an assignment you can try, okay? So this is the FIFA World Cup ranking, copy, and you can do this as a URL action, okay? URL action, take the country codes, country, this data, I'll share with you. You can directly use, we already connected to this country codes, right? So use this data and you can perform an action, and based on the selection of the country codes instead of country name, right? So you can pass. So we can easily do that, but this is just an assignment I'm giving for you.
All right.
Okay.
You were supposed to download the Tableau yesterday.
Oh, okay. Just try that, the 14 days license, and we'll see the student license. Yeah. I'll try to get the student.
Okay. When I tried to do it, it kept telling me maybe I used it before. I don't know.
Better you install new version. It will allow to work for 14 days.
Okay, you show me when you finish which one is. Because anytime I try to open it, it keeps showing me something.
Oh, let's do this. Let's do this now. I'll stop here. There is one more option. I'll go through that option in the next class. So you can do this now. You can stop the recording. So we actually have, parameters is one of the important topic, as you know, right? So generally, we have different types of parameters. Based on the data type. Importantly, parameter is like passing values. Okay, passing values dynamically. So one of the best example is, let's say, if you want to create I'll showcase that. So where we can use parameters. But one of the best example is like, let's say, for an example, if you have a customer wise top 10 sales, right? And if you have a top 10 sales, and if you want to see top 15 or top 20 or top 30, something like that, right? So in that case, with filters, it is not directly possible, correct? So similarly, you can go for a date as well. Like if you want to pass a specific date column, or if you want to pass if you're going to do some multiplication or some calculations, and if you want to change the value dynamically, right? I'm not saying this is a perfect example, but let's say I have some local currency and I want to convert into US dollars, right? Then I want to multiply with that into dollars. Like I can, based on today's dollar value, right? I can multiply and I can convert into like from dollar value into local currency, something like that, alternate, right? So that way we can pass the value dynamically. Okay. So we can use parameters in filters. So filters, set is also a filter, right? So, but yes, I'll showcase that. So we can use both parameters in filters, set, and there is no option to use parameters in groups. But yes, we have an option to go for calculated fields. Okay. So, and even in the custom SQL, custom SQL, we can use parameters. And importantly, we have, as we've seen, like a calculated filter that is very, very important. So, and we have bins. We can also use parameters in bins and reference lines. Okay. So let me go through the first filter option, where, for an example, I'll create customer wise sales information. Okay. Let's sort it out. So with the new versions, whenever we are going to drop something, like it's directly not allowing, you have to place some particular position, correct? So this is a challenge. One simple challenge we are facing here. Okay, that's okay. So now if you look into this, we have customer wise sales, but I wants to go for an example, I wants to show customer wise top 10 sales. Okay.
I saw this thing yesterday.
Sorry?
Now I had that thing popping up, so I didn't know what to do. So I was supposed to create the name, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I wants to display customer wise top 10 sales. So how it is possible? I wants to display anyhow we sorted. So who are the customers, right? So we just selected 8 items, but these are the top 10 customers. But manually, it's not recommended. So generally, you can directly drag and drop customer name into filters, and you have an option to go for top, correct? And default, it shows top 10 by sum of sales. Understand, right? So let's click OK. So this will give you top 10 customers. So whatever the
Okay.
title. So
Okay, quick one. Where did you click to add to edit that customer wise top 10 sales?
this is the title. This is the title where you have a worksheet title, right? This show title. This is the title and double,
Okay,
and
okay,
you
from the
can type
worksheet.
in. Yeah, you just type in manually.
Mhm.
Now, for an example, if I wants to display customer wise top 15 sales, now again I have to come back because this is the presentation mode, and now users don't have a flexibility to pass a value, right? So if they wants to see like top 15 customers, then they don't have an option to go for it. So again, it's a manual process from developer end, right? I mean, from the development front. So they have to inform the developers that, hey, can you make this change to display top 15 customers? And then we have to do the same modification. So every time it's not the best practice to come back to the development team and do the modifications for them, right? So I mean, if it is a major change, yes, we can, but for these kind of like changes, it's not recommended. I mean, just a number change, correct? So like a quick filter, so we cannot go back and ask every time those modifications to apply just a filter condition. So for that purpose, so we have an option to go for a parameter, right? So parameters are one of the flexibility we have and where we can pass a value. So instead of going back and here passing, I mean, going for a static value, so you can create a parameter outside. Even we can also do the same thing here. Here there is a drop down, right? So if you click on drop down, you can create a new parameter. One advantage here is whatever the data type here it is, right? So this is it will allow number, correct? So one advantage if you create a parameter straight away here is it will showcase only the number parameter, right? You can see integer. That is one bigger advantage. But if you want to create a parameter straight away outside, you can do that. So just click on drop down. That's the easiest way. Create a parameter, and you can change value parameter, right? You can pass a value. And now you have to be more careful while working on the data type. Data type plays a major role while working with parameters. So I'll go for range, and the minimum value I can say is 5. Okay, at least I want to display top 5 customers, right? I cannot say top 1 customer since you're wasting all the space. And let's go for maximum value 100. Right, one of the advantage with the step size is like you can go for multiples, 5 multiples, 5, 10, 15, something like that. So have a parameter here. You can go for show parameter. It is like a show filter, right? You can see show parameter. And when you look into this parameter, right? So you're able to see this arrow slider, correct? That way it is very flexible to pass a value. Even we can also type in, okay? Even you can also type in, like for an example, I can type in 10 or I can type in 30 and click enter, right? It's passing 30. If I pass 27, let's see whether it will consider 27 or not. So because we provided only the multiples of 5, closer to that 5 multiple, it will display, okay? Probably 30, right? Or no, 25, you can see. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So probably it takes the nearest value, right? So if you type in 28, obviously it is 30. But if I type in 27, it considers 25. But that's okay. So you can go for a slider. So now it's not working directly, right? Parameters doesn't work straight away like a filter. You have to right click, edit filter, and click on drop down. Then you can see the value parameter here in the drop down, correct? So if you just select value parameter, click apply. So default is selected, 15, it's showing up 15, but let's see whether it is working fine or not. Perfect. Good. It's showing up top 5 now, right? So we have only 5 records. Now if I click on this arrow button, this will give you top 10, top 15, top 20, top 25, right? Top 30. That way you can go for the filter condition dynamically. That's what we can display 100 customers. Even we can go for a number, but I just restricted to 100, right? So this is the parameter we created. Clear? So this is a value parameter. So we can use parameters and filters for dynamic rank like that, dynamic values for the top end customers. But interestingly, if you look into this report, right? So basically it shows, even though we are displaying, let's display less number here. Let's say if you display top 10, this looks perfect, right? But if I'm going to display top 15, what is the challenge here in the report? It shows 15, but there is some issues, right? Something we need to consider.
It's 15.
Yeah, we are displaying top 15 customers, right?
Yeah, top 15.
This looks perfect, but there is one small issue. What exactly?
What's the issue?
Sorry?
What is the issue?
Issue in the sense there is small thing we need to consider in the report. What exactly it is? If you look into the title, right? Title it shows.
Oh, top 10.
Top 10, but we are passing 15. So if you say top 20, still shows top 10.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's important thing. So we have to consider the title as well. So one of the interesting thing, that's the title, importance of title as well. So even in the title, there is an option instead of top 10 static value. So click on the drop down. You can see the parameters as well, right? Parameters option. So parameters dot value parameter. So that way we can display the dynamic functionality of the parameter. You can see it clearly showing top 5, top 25 sales.
Move marker.
So customer wise top 5, top 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that way we can even change the title. Okay. So this is one good example for filters where you can use parameters in filters. So you can even, most of the cases in interviews, right, will ask a basic question. What is the difference between filters and parameters, right? So we have to tell a few examples, but the best example you can differentiate is, hey, if he wants to display top 5 customers, we can apply a filter. But if he wants to go for top 10, top 15, top 20, that way, like we can apply filter, but dynamically for the users, it's not possible. So we have to create a parameter, right? So to achieve the same thing. Clear? So there are a few questions as well. What are the limitations of the parameter? I'll list out that again. Some see just to try with the set. Set is also similar to filter, right? So set is like we can also create a set, but the assignment is display top and bottom and sales based on customers by customers. Okay. So what we can do is you have to create a top n and you have to create a bottom n set, right? So here this is for an example customers, right? I say so you have to create a set on top of customer, correct? Which is top and top five set and the bottom five. And in place of five, right, you can just place a pass the parameter value to achieve top five, bottom five, top 10, bottom 10, like that. Okay. You can just try this as an assignment if you're unable
The
to.
top n. The n is the what the n for?
N called parameter, so top n value. N is like instead of see, this is where you can be used, right? N is like number.
Okay.
Top 20, top 30, top 40, like that. Okay. So let's go with one quick example before moving on to the calculator field. So we'll showcase custom SQL now, and tomorrow we'll start calculator fields. Okay, it will take time actually. So let me connect to Microsoft Access database. Let's use copy chain. This is one of the flexibility we have with custom SQL, but it's very rare cases we are going to use. Interestingly, they have given this option. Okay, I'll tell you. For an example, we have a location, and we have market here. So let's say market and state. Okay, so this is like a custom SQL. So let's go to file. So for an example, we have market. I mean, market is like a region, right? Central is south and east. So there are cases where we do deal with millions of records in real time, correct? So the data is huge. So we have to handle the data. In that case, what we can do is like we can even apply filter condition using custom SQL, which is if it is a static functionality. Like that's what we have a concept to go for data source filter, right? So we have data source filter where we applied and right we restrict the data while loading the data into Tableau, right? That's what we have seen, right? But for the custom SQL, we can also pass the parameter value dynamically. Okay. So let's say go to data source. Let's convert into custom SQL. Okay. Now, if you look into this, like we have a select location dot market size location. This is a default, but the actual column name is market size area code state, right? Here, if you go for a static filter, that's what the where condition, where let me say market equal to central. Click OK. This will load only the central data, right? We have seen this, right? This is important. I mean, parameters in custom SQL, we didn't see much deployment, but yes, at least it is one of the interesting where we can check on this. So instead of going for the static filter, right? This one, central. can we go for a dynamic functionality? For an example, I'll remove this. Click OK. If you go back to custom SQL, so similar to filters, right, where you can see if I select only a specific region or market, this will give you that specific information. But we have everything, right? We have all the options where we can select. This is what filter. We're loading complete data into Tableau. So what we can do is, instead of loading complete information into Tableau, some background noise. So let me mute, okay? I'll let you, and if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask, okay, right? Because I'm getting some background noise, so it might get some disturbance in the video. So now, for an example,
Hello, Ramos.
yeah.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know what I have.
Sorry?
I can hear you, but I'm not hearing you right.
No, okay. Let's see. At least we'll complete this today, and we'll repeat again tomorrow. No worries. So go back to data source, and we have option to go for insert a parameter here. You can see we can create a parameter here, or we can insert, let's say, market parameter. Go for a string, and you can go for a list, and you can add values from location table market. Okay, or you can type in. This is direct. I'll showcase that, as I say, tomorrow. Click OK. So, but we got the parameter, but we have to write a logic, right? Where condition, where market equal to this. Now, even though you remove the filter, still it's showing up only central. Now let me click on the parameter, and you can go for this. You can pass a value. Okay, give me a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. So now we have this flexibility where if you select central, this will give you central data. If you click on east, this will give you east. So this is like a same quick filter, but we don't have complete information directly. So for example, in another report, if I drop market, it won't showcase all the markets, right? So we are not loading complete information in Tableau. We are restricting by making use of parameters dynamically. The dynamic functionality, where whatever the value we are going to select here, so that value will pass to the where condition in the custom SQL. So that way we are restricting the data. Understand it?
Yes.
So this is where we can use parameters in custom SQL. We can use parameters in calculated field. That is what one of the important major topic here in Tableau. So we'll look into this tomorrow. Probably I'll take more time tomorrow. Sorry for today. For delayed. Okay. Any questions so far?
The only question is that the data, where did you get the custom SQL data? Where do you start from?
The data, which is I already shared the coffee chain data, and anyhow I'm going to
When
share.
you went to Microsoft something,
Microsoft
Access.
Access, yes, Access. Microsoft Access database.
All right. Let's see. Everything seems straightforward. I guess when you start really using it.
Your voice is breaking. Let
As
me.
everything seems straightforward, when you start really working on it, I think it will flow better.
Okay.
When you actually started inputting that, running that of organization or things or whatever. So it seems not really that difficult. Just understand the flow.
Yeah. So let me pause here and continue tomorrow. I'll call you. Okay. Disturbance.
All right. I don't want to be. Sometimes I don't know when you're ready. It's like yesterday. I knew you wanted, so I didn't know how your stuff was. Like yesterday, let me just give you time. When you're ready, most likely the same toward this time. Always let me know.
Yeah. No. I'm going to call you over mobile. Okay. 1 minute.